Alright, so now for the first few videos in the front end, we're going to be doing a number of setups. So first off, we're going to set up Redux, and that should be pretty straightforward. The first thing is, let's start from index.js. So I'll come to public so that I don't forget, and I'll go to my index.html. Well, what I just want to do here is I just want to change the header, the title of the site rather. So that is okay. So right here I'll just say p invent app. So p invent app. So that's all I want to do here for now. There's no need to get rid of the comments. I mean, you can get rid of them if you want, but I just want to change the title there. So inside of my source folder, I would start bringing in some of the resources that we need. So let me show you where the resources are located. So I'll leave a link in attached to this video that contains this file that contains the p invent app styles. So all of the styles that we are going to use for this project, I've already uploaded them to GitHub, because I figured there's no point me writing CSS line by line. That's not why we're here to learn the main stack, not to learn CSS. So I've made all the CSS files available to you in this repository. Then also the assets that we use, like the images for example, I've made it available to you also here. So just make sure you have this GitHub repository open as you take the course, so that if you want to import any styles, you can just open. For example, if I wanted to import card module, all you just need to do is click on it, open it up, and when it opens, you just copy it. All right, so you can just click on this button here to copy it, and that's it. So that is it for assets. So as far as this asset is concerned, just make sure you download it, and then you'll have access to the images we use. As for me, I'm going to just copy and paste it into this repository here. So let me do that quickly. So let me locate it, assets, and you know what, I'll just drag it and drop it inside my source folder. So inside of my source folder, I'll just drop the assets. Aha, so you see I now have the assets here. So the next thing I'll do is to create a Redux folder, and then we're going to set up Redux. So in my source folder also, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'll call that Redux. Redux, yeah. Now inside this Redux folder, I'm going to create two files. Sorry, if a single file and a folder. So the first one is going to be store.js, and then inside of the Redux folder, I'm going to create another folder called features. Yeah, so that's it. So but if you remember, we don't actually have Redux installed in this application. So what we need to do next is to install Redux. So I'll open a new terminal here. All right, so I'm going to install, I'll say npm install, and the first is react-redux, and then I'll just give a space, and then I'll install Redux toolkit. So I'll say at redux.js /toolkit. So this will install both Redux and Redux toolkit, because basically what we want is Redux toolkit. So hit enter and then wait for that to install. Alright, so it has finished installing, but to confirm that it actually installed, I'm going to come to my package.json, and then let's see. Aha, so you see here we have okay, for some reason I can't find it in my dependencies. Let me see. Perhaps there was an issue with installing it, because I can't find React Redux here. So I'm just going to open this up and see if there was any issue with installing it. Maybe my internet or something. Okay, so it actually seems like it's installed, but I don't know why it's not showing up in my package.json, which is within the front end folder. Okay, I guess I'll just try to install it again, and because I can't see React Redux here, so I'll try to install it again and just see. So let me just say, I'll just install React Redux. Let me just hold on Redux toolkit. I'll just install this one first, npm install, I'll hit enter, and then I'll just wait for it. Oops, so I realized the mistake I made. I did not move into the front end folder. Wow. Okay, I'm sure you noticed that. Anyway, let me just do CD and into the front end folder, and then I'll just hit enter. Aha, so inside of the front end folder, now I can go ahead and install everything that I installed before. So Redux, React Redux, and Redux.js / toolkit. So hit enter, and now everything should work out just fine. All right, so you see here we now have React Redux and Redux.js / toolkit. So let's quickly just do the setup of Redux. I'm gonna open my source folder, and inside of the Redux we have the features that will contain all of our Redux slides. Then we have this store.js. Now I'll just create one quick feature. I'll create the auth feature. That's because when I create the store, I just wanted to have at least one feature or one slice. So I'll create a new folder inside the features folder. I'll call that auth, and then within the auth, I'll right click on the auth and create a new file which I will call auth slice.js. And then there's a shortcut that you can use to just create a slice. I think it comes with that extension, the ES6, EX7, React, Redux snippets, blah blah blah. So I'll just do my RX slice. Okay, all right. So if you just hit that, it will just create a template for you, Redux template. So let's give it just a single initial state. I'll just set an initial state of is logged in. So let's do that. I'll say is logged in, which I'm going to set initially to false. So it just has at least one state. Then the name of the slice, we're going to change it to a string called auth. So that's about it. We've created the slice, and that's all we need to do here. So I'll go ahead and save, and then I will then go to my store. So now I can confidently create my store and know that at least I have one slice or one reducer rather that I can slot in, which is the auth reducer. So here for our store, let's just come down, and here I'll say export, and let's create the store const store, and that's going to be equal to, so first off, let's import the configure store from Redux toolkit. So here I'll just say configure store. Aha, so you see I'll import that from Redux toolkit, and that's what we're going to use to create our store. So store is going to be equal to configure store, and it's just open it up, and inside we're just going to have an object. This object will now have a reducer property, which we're going to open up as an object again. Then here we'll now list all our reducers. So let's just come here and import the auth reducer. So I'll say import, I'll just call it auth reducer, and I'll import it from, where is it located? Well, it's inside the Redux folder. So // and then I'm going to go into the Redux folder, and then /auth, sorry, / features first. Then inside the features we now have the auth, so auth folder, and lastly we now have the auth slice. Yeah, so that's it. So here I'll just point to this auth reducer. So here I'll say auth, and then I'll just point to the auth reducer. Aha, so that's it for our store. At least we've created the store and we have one reducer inside. That's why I wanted to just create that reducer. It's not as if I wanted to start working on the reducer right at the moment. So let's go ahead and save this guy. And the last thing we need to do to finally have our Redux toolkit set up is to go to our index.js and provide the store to the application, to the root of our app. So here I'm just going to import the store first. So let me say store, and that's coming from Redux and store. So I've imported it. Great. So now I'll just wrap it around our app. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to also import provider from React Redux. So I'll say provider, and that's coming from React Redux. Yeah. All right. So then let's come here, and then we're just going to wrap this provider around the app. So I'll just say provider, like so, and then I'll tap that and bring the app inside it. Now this opening tag here will now have a store property, store, and that's going to point to the store we just created earlier. So this is how you set up your Redux toolkit. And when you save this file, I just pressed Ctrl S, didn't I? Okay, yeah, so it's saving. When you save this file and your React app restarts, you should not get any error like a blank screen, because at least we've created one piece of slides. So you see, I now have my Redux toolkit set up. So that's about it for this one. In the next one, we're going to continue building out the project.